Hi everyone! I'm here with a video that I think I've promised for a little while now. I know I've put it in a few comments, but as you can probably tell, today I'm going to rank the Tarja Turunen era of Nightwish's albums. I thought this would probably be something fun since I've ranked other bands' albums, and also nice timing since Nightwish have just announced that they are going to release another album. Very curious to see the disc 2 that is just one huge track. I will obviously be pre-ordering this album and I will hopefully review it as soon as it comes out. It is coming out quite close to my big day, so it could be hit or miss, but I'll try and get it in there because, you know, it's important. It's a Nightwish new release. I want to talk about it with you guys. But yeah, be warned that when the album comes out, it's not that far from when I get married, so I may have to kind of push reviewing things aside. But yeah, anyways, I intend to at least pre-order it and get it as it comes out. So, in anticipation for all that excitement, let's have a little chat. As I have just said, this will only be the albums that feature Tarja Turunen. I don't own any of the Annette Olsson albums. I will never really. I know I won't. I don't know what I was about to say. I probably won't. No, I won't. It's not going to happen. I like the songs from those albums. Whenever Flaw does them live, I'm like, ooh, woo, fun new live track. But I'm just not interested. Her voice to me is nice for like the pop industry and whatnot, but it just doesn't fit what I kind of wanted in the Nightwish aesthetic. The sound I like with them, whatever. Anyways, I think Flaw is a much better replacement. I do have Endless Forms Most Beautiful, and like I said, I will get the next album, but I'm not including that in this ranking video because I feel like there's too much of a gap and that Nightwish had changed quite a bit, you know, in the timing. So I'm going to put all these together, and hopefully if they make a lot more albums with Flaw, I can do a video like this in the future talking about Flaw's career with the band. So yeah, I'm just sealing it tight with Tarja Turunen's run. The ranking of this was quite difficult actually. The top two I knew instantly, like I knew before I even picked up any of the albums or thought about them, like I knew what my favourite two albums were. And the bottom one was quite easy, which I will explain when we're chatting away. But then in the middle it was really hard because there's so many of my favourites scattered among them, track-wise. So I basically had to start counting how many of my favourites were on each album, and that's how I ended up putting them in the order they're in. So yes, so I have here, how many do I have? 6? Yeah, 6 albums. I believe this is correct. When I said about 7, I'll explain now. 7 isn't really a full album, so you probably already know what. 7? 6. I can't count anymore. No, bottom ranking number 6 isn't a full album, but it does have new songs on it, and it's like album length, and it is part of the like Nightwish Reloaded collection where they redid each album so that they all went together in a collection, which I do have. So I've included it, but I put it in bottom rankings for that reason, because there isn't that much going on with it, if you know what I mean. It's mostly a live album. That's Over the Hills and Far Away. Yes, I know. Whoa, shocking. It's not at all. I'm pretty sure that most Nightwish fans probably would agree that when you're ranking actual recorded albums, because I don't include live albums, that this barely even makes the cut, but because it was part of the collection I thought I best at least talk about it. So that's why it's so low ranking. Obviously it has Over the Hills and Far Away on it. 10th Man Down and Away are the only actual, original songs on here. Say original, obviously cover still, but new to this, to Nightwish's catalogue, which 10th Man Down is an absolute classic. I mean, so is Over the Hills and Far Away, but like, so it's not like this is bad, and the live stuff on here is great. Like, I have listened to so many of these live so many times. Like, now I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I do actually listen to this album quite a lot, but it's just not full of original material. So this is last place. Sorry, but yeah, I still like this album a lot and listen to it all the time. So, 5th place goes to Angels Fall First. And it's just literally because it didn't have as many of my favourite songs as some of the others. And also with this album you can kind of tell that Nightwish are still coming into their own. It's their first release. So there's just a lot of room to grow from this. That's the only real downside of it. Like, I'm looking at it right now and there's so many classics, but some of these classics are kind of not for the wrong reasons, but like, so for example, Nightwish fans out there, The Carpenter, it's a classic, but we all kind of, I don't know if laugh at it's the right term, we all kind of are like, it's the one where, you know, they tried to get some male vocals in there and they went brilliantly, but it's still a good song. Like, I really like the new version they've done on Decades with Flaw and Troy and Marco all singing it. Great. Like, I saw it live twice and loved it both times. But there's just bits and pieces on here that you can tell this band is still trying to figure out what it is that they do. Yeah, like I say, there's songs I love on here, like Elven Path, love. Tutankhamun may actually be one of my favourite Nightwish songs of all time. But again, it's kind of because I kind of love how ridiculous it is. Like, that wobbly solo, oh, beautiful, but at the same time I'm kind of giggling just thinking about it because it's such a wobbly solo. Nymphomaniac Fantasia, hilarious again, like the scent of a woman, that line, great. But yeah, like, it's still an album I cherish and listen to all the time. It's just not quite up there with the rest of them quality wise, I would say. That's literally the only issue with it. So, number 4, we have Oceanborn. And I feel like now I'm getting into this section is where it gets muddy as to how angry Nightwish fans may be with me and my rankings. But like I say, I literally sat and counted out songs and put them in the order of how many of my favourite Nightwish tracks were on each album. So, I mean, this has some absolute belters on it. Like, there's no downfalls. I love the whole catalogue of Nightwish. Like, I'll happily listen to pretty much any, say the whole catalogue, whole Tarja Turunen catalogue. I'll listen to anything from these albums. It's just that some more of my favourites are on others. Particular favourites, let's see, I'll do a top 2. Stargazers and Sacrament of Wilderness, probably from this one. It's a great album. I love it. The sound is there. It's brilliant. You can tell Nightwish are getting more and more into their sound. Just that I have more favourite tracks on other albums. Literally the only issue here. So yeah, that's Oceanborn. Then, number 3. Again, I feel like this one may be a little bit more controversial. I feel like this one's one that's really, like, deemed number 1. It's Wishmaster. So, I mean, I still love it. I still love every album I'm talking about today. Like, none of these I think are a weak link. Even the one that's basically a live album. I love a live album. So, what am I going to say in my top 2 here? Because there's some absolute bangers. Obviously, the title track. And then probably She Is My Sin might be my next favourite on here. I love She Is My Sin. And I like it, obviously original recording. I like the Flaw version a lot as well. I feel like it's a really energetic song and I really can get into it. So yeah, this is still an album I really love. But I knew my top 2 were going to be my top 2. And I think the reason why these next 2 albums are more important than any of these other ones to me is because these were the 2 albums when I was actually getting into Nightwish that were out. Like, they were the 2 that were coming out at the time. I'd say I was around 13 when I first heard them, something like that. So anyways, yeah, number 3 is Wishmaster. And as you can probably tell, I seem to like them as they progress. I learnt this literally today when I was looking at my favourite rankings order, that I am definitely someone who likes this band the more they've kind of grown into themselves. So number 2, shockingly, Century Child. This is actually the album that I have the Decades t-shirt for. I don't know if I've shown it off a lot in my videos, but like that t-shirt is so beautiful, and it was one of my favourite albums, so I was like, that's the one I'm going to get. And also I have the hoodie for the album that is missing that is obviously a surprise for everybody. So yeah, anyways, moving on. Century Child. This has my all-time favourite Nightwish song on it. So kind of shocking it's number 2. My favourite Nightwish song of all time is Slaying the Dreamer. If you've seen my rankings, you know that. Absolutely love that song. I do think my favourite Nightwish song rankings have changed a lot over the years, the more I've kind of listened to them and got into live stuff because I've seen them live, and so maybe I might do a new redone version of that. But anyways, yeah, my favourite is still Slaying the Dreamer. Absolutely amazing song. Amazing. With Floor even, I saw it twice in person on the Decades tour, went nuts, like, oh, I love that song. What am I going to say is number 2 to that? Oh god, it's hard to choose. Maybe Dead to the World. I really like Dead to the World. Anyways, this one is one of the ones where it's harder to pick out favourite tracks. Like, I could listen to this album as a whole so many times. I have done. And I really feel a connection to it. But yeah, as I say, this was kind of like the album that had just come out when I first had heard of Nightwish. So this obviously holds a bit more of a place in my heart because that's how I was slowly getting into them. And then the album they released once I'd heard of them, my number 1, End of an Era, means so much to me. Once. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't see Once as so highly regarded, but I just have so much sentimental value to this album. Like, this is the album that I'd really got into Nightwish. This is what they released, and so this means a lot to me. When did this come out? 2004. Yeah, that'd be right. So I'd have been like 14. So yeah, this it holds a high place in my heart. I adore it. And then this was Nightwish ending on a high for a long time for me because I just didn't care for what they were doing afterwards for a while. So I think that's another reason why I hold it so highly in regards, is because it was the last thing I could cling on to for so long. Favourite songs on here, let's see, what am I going to pick? Ooh, Romanticide. I'm probably going to pick that. I love that song. And The Siren, I love that song too. I got really obsessed with it. Obviously this has like absolute fan favourite Ghost Love Score on there, and it has probably their biggest hit Nemo on. So like, this is a really big popular album, and I understand why, because it's just so well put together. And again, it's another album where I can listen to it through completely on a whole and love every moment of it. So yeah, this is my favourite Tarja Turunen era Nightwish album. I don't know if that's controversial or not. I feel like it is a little bit, but like I say, it was the album that solidified that I liked this band. So yeah, like it means a lot to me, and it's just so heartbreaking that they released this and then there was no more with the lineup. I would pay a lot of money to see them do a tour with Tarja Turunen, and I would pay a lot of money for them to get back together. I really would love that. Like, that's my ideal, but I am happy with the current lineup. Like, Floor is amazing. I have no complaints about that lady, other than, and this is not that big of a complaint, sometimes I feel like she holds her voice in a little bit and doesn't give it as much as she could to sound more Nightwishy in a way, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like Revamp was where we really heard what that amazingly powerful voice could really do. So that's my only wish, is can we please let Floor like absolutely bell it out a little bit more, please. But yeah, this is my favourite. I love it. Come at me. Please don't. Let's not fight. But yeah, those were my rankings for the original era, if you will, the Tarja era of Nightwish. Like, if you want me to do her solo albums, I think I have them all. trying to think now. I'm pretty sure I have them all because I followed her through her solo career, really like that. Saw her on a solo tour. Could not complain, like her voice is magical. It's the voice that created a genre. You can't complain about it if you're a symphonic metal fan. Yeah, I am happy with the way things are going with Nightwish at the moment. I'm very excited for the new album, but I just thought it'd be fun to talk about my favourite era, and because I've been doing these album rankings a little bit recently, I thought let's pop another one in there for everybody. So tell me your rankings in the comments. Tell me how you feel about what I said. Do you have some of the same favourites as me, even if it's just track wise? Let's have a little chat about Nightwish. Why not? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.